The WWE has been putting on more entertaining shows as of late, whether it's Raw, SmackDown, or its Extreme Rules pay-per-view. However, has the WWE really turned the corner in putting on a consistently entertaining product? Join us now as WrestleLamia looks at whether the WWE has reached a turning point. After hitting near-record lows for TV ratings and live event attendance ticket sales, including its Stomping Grounds pay-per-view, Vince McMahon realized changes had to be made, whether it was the paltry fan turnout or the looming threat of new promotion All Elite Wrestling. Undoubtedly, Fox Network executives calling the McMahons in for a meeting to discuss their ratings woes probably lit a fire under them as well, especially in light of how much money the WWE is getting from moving SmackDown Live to Fox this fall. The WWE surprised the wrestling world when it announced that it was bringing in Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff to respectively oversee the creative side of Raw and SmackDown. Fans have noticed changes ever since Paul Heyman assumed his role as Raw's creative executive director. The program lessened its tedious, long opening promos, featured more violence as well as edgier content, such as more adult storylines than usual, as well as profanity. SmackDown has improved as well for the same reasons, but has the WWE really turned a corner in its bid to restore solid ratings, rebuild a young fan base, and make WWE hip again? What it's doing right. Building up storylines. The WWE has done an excellent job of building up storylines between its superstars, whether it's undercard wrestlers or main eventers. For example, Ember Moon's program against Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose on SmackDown hasn't set the world on fire, but it's been an entertaining undercard program over the last few weeks, giving all three women a chance to perform and do so in more than throwaway matches. In Moon's case, it's also built her up for a women's championship match against SmackDown champion Bayley. Hyping up its weekly shows. Once upon a time, the WWE Universe knew ahead of time what was going to happen on the next week's Raw or SmackDown, and in some cases, WWE even spent more than a week building up an important match. WWE has finally returned to this practice, announcing matches on its website and social media ahead of time, as well as often listing matches for the following week. Utilizing more creative tools. In the past, WWE has typically set up matches with wrestlers either laying out a wrestler in a sneak attack or demanding a match. Now WWE is expanding its creativity with different methods. As ridiculous as it was, the Winners Take All match was a good way to create the illusion that Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans had a chance of winning the Universal and Raw Women's Championships at Extreme Rules, since it was a tag team match rather than a singles match. The 16 July 2019 SmackDown showed two ways a championship match can be set up. In the case of WWE Champion Kofi Kingston, three heels wanted a shot, so the New Day gave them a six-man tag team match with Randy Orton pinning Kofi Kingston. While there's no idea whether Randy will challenge Kofi for the title, the Viper is now established as capable of defeating Kofi. An even more novel approach saw SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley team with Ember Moon and, apparently impressed by Moon's heart and skills, offer her a title match. Keeping its audience. While the WWE's ratings decline has been more than problematic, an equally serious problem has been that its shows haven't been able to maintain their audience. In Raw's case, the ratings for hours 2 and 3 would plummet, showing that WWE couldn't do anything to keep its fans tuned in. That hasn't been the case over the last few weeks. Let's take a quick look at the last few weeks' ratings for Raw. On the July 15 episode, the average audience was 2,453,000. In Hour 1, that was 2,379,000, Hour 2, 2,503,000, and Hour 4, 2,478,000. For the July 8th episode, the average audience was 2,352,000 viewers, with Hour 1 doing 2.384 million, Hour 2 doing 2.349 million, and Hour 3 doing 2.322 million. The July 1st episode had an average audience of 2,496,000 viewers, with Hour 1 doing 2.468 million, Hour 2 2.676 million, and Hour 3 2.345 million. On June 24th, the average audience was 2,275,000, with Hour 1 doing 2.386 million, Hour 2 doing 2.315 million, and Hour 3 doing 2.126 million. On the June 17th episode, the average audience was 2,235,000, with Hour 1 doing 2.325 million, Hour 2 doing 2.303 million, and Hour 3 doing 2.078 million. And for the June 10th show, the average audience was 2,125,000 viewers, with Hour 1 doing 2.38 million, Hour 2 doing 2.086 million, and Hour 1 doing 1.909 million. Dave Meltzer broke things down for the 15 July Raw in the Wrestling Observer Figure 4 Online. Raw last night, coming off the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, did 2.45 million viewers, a 4% increase from last week. Considering last week was against the Home Run Derby and this week came off of a pay-per-view, you would have expected a bigger increase, but the ratings pattern was extremely strong for the episode itself. The first hour was surprisingly low, but there was a big increase in Hour 2, and while Hour 3 dropped, it was still ahead of Hour 1, which almost never happens. The pattern was closer to the summer patterns in previous years as opposed to the modern pattern of people tuning in early and tuning out. Keep in mind, a few weeks' ratings figures don't indicate a trend, but if this pattern continues, it's a good sign for WWE. Bringing in important demographics. The WWE is also doing better attracting a wider demographic, with WWE building up its younger demographic, one it's actively seeking, as well as women. Dave Meltzer noted, "Once again, which has been the case in recent weeks, there was a strong women's viewership growth during the show. Women 18 to 49 gained 18% from the first to third hour, which is unheard of. Men 18 to 49 gained 9%. Teenage girls gained 36% from Hour 1 to Hour 3. Teenage boys gained 39% from Hour 1 to Hour 3. The overall gains would have been higher, but the largest audience, over 50, dropped 2.9% from the first to third hour, which is still much better than usual." Staying flexible. Vince McMahon is known for his stubborn streak, ignoring the fans' wishes and doing whatever he thinks is best for WWE. This policy hasn't worked in recent years, so it's refreshing to see McMahon willing to modify storylines to reflect the fans' wishes. Kofi Kingston's WWE Championship win was fan service, but his extended push isn't. Instead, it's a sign WWE recognized Kofi's popularity and decided to give him time to succeed or fail. Shane McMahon's push has been the subject of fan criticism, as well as murmurings backstage, so WWE capitalized on the backlash, turning Kevin Owens babyface in order to challenge Shane, hopefully diverting Shane from what looked to be a bid for Kofi Kingston's WWE Championship and turning it into something far more useful and palatable to fans. The 24/7 Championship. Not much needs to be said other than WWE has let its undercard performers flex their creative muscles in putting on an engaging storyline of a chase for a title that means nothing and everything at the same time. What it's still doing wrong. Too much talk. The WWE has scaled back the opening promos that not only dragged on but served a purpose, setting up matches that could have been addressed in 2 minutes. Ultimately, WWE seems to be trying to keep these segments, only disguising them in different formats. For example, Paul Heyman's promo on the 15 July Raw ran long as he set up the 10-man Battle Royal to determine the #1 contender for the Universal Championship. Similarly, Shane McMahon's Town Hall meeting on the 16 July SmackDown was a glorified talk segment. Authority figures. WWE still seems intent on running the corrupt authority figure angle with Shane McMahon on SmackDown and apparently Paul Heyman on Raw. Heyman started the 15 July Raw by implying he's calling the shots, and while it's too early to tell whether he was only referring to his client Brock Lesnar holding Raw's top title, it's not a good sign that he booked a match to determine Lesnar's SummerSlam opponent. The authority figure angles are cliched, and Heyman himself has said this. Sadly, Vince McMahon has the final say, so until the authority angles go, it's a sign WWE is stuck in the past. Inconsistency. WrestleLamia is certainly happy with the way things have been going in WWE over the last few weeks, but there hasn't been consistency. The 8 July Raw was seen by fans and WWE officials alike as a dud, which surprised so many people after the engaging July 1 episode. The WWE has lost much of the fans' goodwill, and it can't afford to lose any more, or fans will think that it's more of the same thing. WWE promising to change only to fall back into the same boring format of the last few years. Repeating the same matches. WWE has been doing this for years, so it's unlikely to change overnight, booking the same wrestlers in the same matches week after week, or running programs that no one gets behind. Seth Rollins vs. Baron Corbin was a dud after their first match, but WWE managed to stretch it out over Super Showdown, Stomping Grounds, and Extreme Rules, although it does deserve credit for mixing things up with stipulations. The WWE ran an outstanding match between Cesaro and Aleister Black at Extreme Rules, only to repeat their match the same week on SmackDown. WWE has so many superstars that it doesn't need to run the same matches week in and week out. It's lazy booking, it can hurt a wrestler's push, and it's boring to fans. Brock Lesnar as Universal Champion. Why, Vince? Why? Unless Brock Lesnar drops the Universal Championship at SummerSlam, WWE will have to come up with a good reason why Raw doesn't have a full-time champion. Taking the belt off of Brock at this year's Showcase of the Immortals was well received by the WWE Universe, and fans are worried that Lesnar's title win means the WWE plan on more of the same. A part-time champion who doesn't put anyone over and who deprives the Red Brand of a top star on TV and at live events. Turning point or not, the WWE finds itself poised to make some serious and long-needed changes, but there's still much work to be done. As we've noted before, and fans know all too well, the WWE has made changes before only to go back to business as normal, in effect ruining any progress they've made. WrestleLamia likes what it sees with these changes, and it's apparent the WWE Universe does too, and sincerely hopes the WWE continues to improve its product. One of the biggest challenges will be when All Elite Wrestling begins airing its weekly television show on TNT. There are rumors WWE intends to run NXT, which shows the WWE is taking it seriously. The real challenge, however, will be for both promotions to bring in each other's audience. AEW has a core audience, as does the WWE, but currently they are two very different audiences. That's why WWE is looking to regain the younger demographic that likes AEW. Likewise, AEW will greatly benefit if it can bring in lapsed fans and current WWE fans to its core audience. This weekend saw AEW host its Fight for the Fallen live event, which streamed for free on Bleacher Report Live, while Extreme Rules aired on WWE Network. Extreme Rules was arguably the WWE's best show all year, and even the ending with Brock Lesnar winning the Universal Championship may be good depending on what happens at SummerSlam. Fight for the Fallen was more of a TV special as opposed to Extreme Rules being a pay-per-view level. Any comparison seems to be apples for oranges, but in terms of the number of matches and the number of good matches, Extreme Rules was the better show. WWE indeed finds itself at a turning point to make dramatic improvements or to renew its disastrous course to the fans abandoning them and TV networks dismissing them. If WWE can continue improving its weekly programming and overall direction, July 2019 may be seen as the company's turning point when it rose to the occasion in the midst of competition and declining viewership, eventually becoming the undisputed leader in sports entertainment. However, if WWE decides to abandon its changes, it could find it has killed whatever remaining goodwill it had with its fans and watch as the WWE continues to decline. Well guys, there you have it, a look at whether the WWE has reached a turning point. What do you think of the WWE's efforts so far, and what can they do to improve? Be sure to leave your comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time for some more wrestling content.